I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I don't know what I'm thinking. 3 days and now this.
Now look, just look. Trust me, okay? Trust me.
Sharon, you're retiring us. You're retiring us. That's not my problem. Yes, it is. You're just thinking about yourself, goddammit. What about me? I live in your life. What am I gonna do? What am I supposed to do? I don't care. Yes, you do. I don't care. Yes, you. I don't care. Yes, you do. I don't care. Yes, you don't care. You do. I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, shit. Look, man. No, Riggs, look. Hey, you know I love you. You know I love you, Riggs. And your problems are my problem. Right? I mean, like you said, what happens to you happens to me.
Well, if there's one guy, just one guy.
I never thought that life could be anything but catastrophe, but suddenly I begin to see a bit of good luck for me. 'Cause I've got a golden ticket, I've got a golden path to
Brigitte Wilson's
pussy. Hello again, Rudy fans. The few of you that there are now remaining. We have a very special treat for you this iteration. Unfortunately and fortunately, it's another movie about a movie. But this time, there's plenty of scantily clad women, fast cars, explosions, gunshots, and most importantly of all, a cartoon cat detective. What did we see this time?
We saw Last Action Hero, 1992.
Something tells me, just from the way you said it, you weren't a big fan. Were you?
We've been talking a lot lately about nostalgia and growing up with something when you're young and the cold, harsh reality of watching it when you're older.
Yeah.
And like I said, I grew up with this movie when I was a kid in the mid-90s.
All right, I'll think about it.
Hey, I love you.
Yeah. What the hell is that?
Don't ask me.
So what's up?
I used to really like it. And when you brought up to watch the movie for the show, I was excited. I was like, oh man, Last Action Hero. I loved that movie as a kid. It's been probably over 10 years since I've seen it. I was like, oh man, that was a lean, mean movie. It was like hour 45 max, just moved.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I looked on the back of my multi-pack DVD, which had this, and I saw 131 minutes. And man, was that the first moment of getting kneecapped into reality. But listen, there's nice moments in the movie. There's good moments of action. It does have a really cool concept, which we alluded to with our opening with Willy Wonka. It's kind of Willy Wonka, but an action movie with the whole golden ticket and kind of going through the movie screen and stuff like that. It's way too fucking long.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie wears out its welcome. I'm cool with meta stuff. This movie was ahead of its time. We grew up in the 90s, so meta movies were the thing because a year later, Wes Craven did New Nightmare, and then he took on that meta thing and tried to perfect it with Scream. So we grew up with this kind of style, even though this movie didn't connect with people really.
Hey, McBain, I'm a big fan, but your last movie really sucked.
I know. There were script problems from day one.
Yeah, I'll say. Magic ticket my ass, McBain.
At the time, it was a flop. It has nice moments, but ultimately I was like, yeah, can we finish this up? Can we wrap it up? It's worn out its welcome.
Like you, I loved it as a boy, but I didn't see it at all as a comedy. I just figured it's another Arnold Schwarzenegger action extravaganza.
Right.
Rediscovering it in my mid to late 20s, I found it hilarious, but like you said, there are problems. Tonally, it's a mess.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime they bring up his dead son or when they go to reality, the movie just grinds to a halt. They get stuck in the mud.
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to bring up is that a few years ago, I was listening to a podcast with the original writer of the movie, blanking on his name. I think it's like Zach Zach something.
I took note of it after watching, but I forgot.
Yeah, he's been a writer on a lot of Marvel movies and worked with Joss Whedon and stuff.
Wasn't this like his first movie? It was like his huge bidding war for it.
Yeah, there was a huge, massive bidding war, and basically this movie was rewritten. It went into this constant changes. There's even William Goldman. They paid him like $1 million to punch up the dialogue. That's what Arnold wanted to do. Shane Black rewrote it as well. The original writer, he didn't even, I think, get invited to the screening, and he went to go see it. And the opening scene of the movie, like you said, we got a kid getting fucking killed at the beginning of the movie, which he saw, which was not in his script. And he basically, from what I remember of the podcast years ago, he just walked right out. It's like, no, that's not this movie.
It comes up later too, but in a sort of different way. He, as a challenge to Jack Slater, aka Arnold Schwarzenegger, he says, "Just kill me right here." You can't. You're a good guy. The thing about this movie is, with those elements, the sort of depression about his son and wife, and he has nothing in his life really, the joke is that these are action movie characters, not that they're three-dimensional people. That could have worked if it was a much more sincere movie, not a action comedy at its heart.
I know what you're saying, and it comes kind of out of nowhere, because even early on in the movie, there's a scene where the kid is trying to go see Jack Slater 4, because at the beginning of the movie, he's watching Jack Slater 3. The projectionist tells him, oh yeah, well, I'll have a special screening for you. You can come see it. As you like to bring up movies being manipulative, we see his mom for like a total of like 30 seconds, and she's like,
I didn't choose any of this. I didn't choose it. I didn't say, hey, what the hell? Let me see what it'd be like to be a widow before I'm 40. Give that a try.
bitch, you're definitely over 40. and it's like, that's so manipulative. We're just going to say, okay, hey, you and his dad's dead. You're living in a shithole. Your mom's working the night shift. And then, oh, okay, you open.
You want to hear something weird? I thought, even though I've seen this movie before and I knew it was going to happen, for some reason I got major vibes like, okay, Jack Slater's going to stay in the real world and be his real dad.
Oh, right.
The scene when he's talking with the mother over breakfast, that's what made me think of that.
That goes to the tonal weird qualities. When he's about to leave the apartment, and I remember this vividly as a kid because it's very disturbing to watch this when I'm 5-6 years old and see this like random crackhead with a fucking switchblade just bust into his apartment and stick a knife near a kid's throat and is robbing the fucking place and screaming at the kid saying,
what is it with you? You got junk, no jewelry, no VCR, a shit TV that'll get me $20.
Wow, where did this come from? Like, we're in Taxi Driver now in New York City? Like,
12 and a half years old, you ain't never had no pussy like that. You can do anything you want with her. You can come on her, fuck her in the mouth, fuck her in the ass, come on her face, man.
They kind of tried to make it work in the end by having the sort of, in this world, the bad guy can win kind of thing. It was more a reality check, but it was very harsh for what the rest of this movie was.
I see what you're saying, how that ties into once they go back to reality. Yeah, that does make sense. But it's just PG-13 action comedy. But at the same time, I am being a little hypocritical because look at something like Kindergarten Cop, which has a guy getting shot in the chest at the beginning of the movie and thrown into a trash compactor.
Not too long after, they have a woman overdose.
Yeah.
By giving her spiked drugs.
Yeah, and at the end of the movie, there's a fucking school shooting. It's, so
very similar to a script I'm working on.
Right. I don't know. It just really stuck out to me here. And my biggest problem with this movie, which I didn't have when I was younger, is I fucking hate the kid, man.
You hate the kid?
I hate the fucking kid.
I don't love him, but he worked, I thought. It does get a bit annoying with the say this.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it.
Say this. Yeah, this is gonna happen. And I hate his fucking haircut.
You got to remember, this was the early 90s, man.
Yeah, so mop head was very and chic. It's just the whole time I was thinking, man, if they had only had like a young Joseph Gordon-Levitt or like Macaulay Culkin in the lead here, I think the movie would have worked a lot better because you would have gravitated towards the kid more.
Maybe, but at the same time, especially if it was Macaulay Culkin, you're supposed to believe this is a real life kid. You cast Macaulay Culkin. Oh, come on. That's just a little Home Alone boy.
Yeah, I know, but this whole movie is that. So.
In movie stuff may have worked better.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about casting, and I'm like, man, this kid doesn't work. And just look at his career, man. This kid did fucking nothing. He's not a good actor. It just didn't work for the kid.
Okay.
I thought he was bad, and he brought it down for me. I'm just like, this is a little shit weasel. I can't stand this kid. He's annoying. And the faces he would make in this movie are so ridiculous when he's in the car. And I was just like, oh, God. And even Arnold in this movie, there's moments where I'm like, man, it seems like you're sleepwalking through this performance.
Yeah.
There was moments where I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, are you okay? Was the production that bad?
Number one for me was when they're at the apartment.
No, Danny. It's getting harder. I never started out to be anything but a decent cop. But I kept getting involved in these crazy adventures. But the craziest part is, I kept surviving.
Oh, he's like on a bunch of Xanax or something.
Yeah, and I looked up. He had all these responsibilities. He was a producer. He was all these different things he was doing on the movie. It was the first time he had taken all these responsibilities on. He hired John McTiernan. He oversaw the script and everything. Arnold even said that this was like the beginning of the end of his career, because it was like his first failure. It's not entirely his fault. If you look behind the scenes, like they had a hard date to hit, I think a couple weeks after Jurassic Park or something.
This was going to be the next summer movie that year.
Yeah. And they were shooting this movie a week before the release date. They were still shooting.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, no, they were still shooting. John McTiernan wanted them to push the date. Arnold said, no, that'll make us look like we have problems with the movie. The editing of this movie and everything it's a massive problem.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that McTiernan would go back and fix this movie and just kind of reorganize it a little bit, trim it a little bit. No,
it was a failure. It was a flop. There's probably not a huge audience. Why would he go back and do that for little to no reward?
I mean, I think it is a cult film now. I think the kind of opinion of this movie has kind of changed over time. I do think people are looking at this movie a bit with rose-colored glasses, like when they think of it fondly from their youth.
It may be like the sort of situation I found myself in. I just viewed it as a straight action movie, and then when I rediscovered it, it's actually really funny in some spots. It sort of knocks you off your critical pendulum.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some really good lines, and Shane Black did some nice punch-up dialogue.
No, my question. I get to go first. Why in perfect hell would you pee on a corpse?
I didn't intend to. It's not like I did it for kicks.
That you can kind of tell it has his quality to it. Ultimately, it's tough for me to recommend a movie like this because I'm not sure anybody under the age of 25 is going to understand this movie or just get it, because it's so 90s in terms of movie projectors, going out of focus, VHS, video stores.
Also, the height of the action movie star. This was sort of the mark of the falling action, if you will, when it came to action movie stars.
Yeah, and also there's Amadeus references. Now, I don't think a lot of people are up to date on Amistad, but
I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's tricky because I brought up earlier with Wes Craven and New Nightmare and Scream, and now we live in a world with Deadpool, which is doing this kind of meta quality. So maybe that audience will react to something like this, but I don't know. I watch it and I'm kind of like, yeah, okay, this is nostalgic for me because I see things from the 90s, but it's a very flawed movie. It really is.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's another one of my classic. If you have any interest in it whatsoever, give it a watch. If you don't like it, don't watch it again. If you do, watch it again, buy it, whatever. So yeah, it's a case of that.
I really like the opening sequence, except for the whole kid killing thing. Which I'm just kind of like, all right.
Oh, it's hilarious.
I really like Tom Noonan as the Ripper.
It's
I
funny
think
you say that.
he's-
My first line to bring him up was Rudy Land favorite Tom Noonan makes a brief appearance in this movie.
The Rudy Land mascot, the Ripper. Tom Noonan is really good. I wish he was in it more. I wish he had more to do. That's the same way I feel about Charles Dance. Like, Charles Dance is awesome in this movie. I love the whole contact lens. I love his gun. It's nice to see him young in a movie, because I think most people are just going to see him and be like, oh, old evil man from Game of Thrones. And he has such life to him in this movie. He's fucking awesome. But after you watch the movie and you look at what he did, you're like, oh, he really didn't get to do a lot. He didn't really have any real big action scenes. He's sitting down in the movie. He's delivering some dialogue. He'll shoot a couple people. He doesn't really get to do a lot.
No.
And that frustrated me, especially when a movie like this is so long.
They spent way too much time with Arnold and, what's his name? Danny Madigan, I'd say. Or at least have a couple scenes where he's sort of going toe-to-toe with Charles Dance.
Yeah, absolutely. Have some shootout. This is the early 90s. John Woo was coming over to the US, and you got John McTiernan. He made fucking Die Hard and Predator. Like, let's get some big shootouts between...
They made a joke about it later in the movie when Arnold Schwarzenegger he's being interviewed by the press or something. He's like,
we kill less people in this movie. This movie, we only killed 48 people, and compared to the last one where we kill 119.
yeah, more shootouts, more action. But the action that was there was executed really well. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I mean, I think the action is decent in the movie. There's some nice car flips and car chases compared to the height of what John McTiernan has done, and especially the movie he did after this, Die Hard with a Vengeance. The action is pretty tame, ultimately.
It's funny you brought up Die Hard with a Vengeance. As I watched this, I thought about an experience I had. He's sitting in school. He's imagining Arnold Schwarzenegger in, I think it was Macbeth. I didn't have the exact same experience, but I can remember Hamlet, pardon me. I just watched Die Hard on TV. The night before, my mom borrowed Die Hard with a Vengeance from the library. I'm sitting in school all day just like, come on. I just want to watch this. It brought up those memories for me.
That was nice, that Hamlet sequence in the movie. That is a real standout. It's funny because when I rewatched that scene, I was just like, man, I really do wish that was a movie.
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark, and Hamlet is taking out the trash.
It's like,
well, I mean,
so
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. What are some of the other ones?
Right.
Pride and Prejudice and Vampires.
Zombies.
Right.
It reminded me of the movie Black Knight with Martin Lawrence. He goes back to
I'm familiar with it. I have not seen it since I was like 13, though.
Well, let me bring up another movie, Army of Darkness with Ash.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell going back to
since we're talking about it, I've rewatched all three of them. They're just not that funny to me.
No, they're not that great. No, they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another case of youth coming back and punching you in the fucking face. I mean, Army of Darkness has some cool moments, and I love Bruce Campbell, but it's
kind of lame.
I do think it would have been kind of hilarious to see like
Peak Arnold.
Yeah, Peak Arnold transported back to like medieval times where he has Uzis and shit. He's going up against fucking medieval people and shit. And in Hamlet, that would have been kind of a fun, crazy movie. I do love the opening sequence. We have the classic case of the black police chief screaming at him, saying, "I'm going to take your badge." And he just throws the badge. Shane Black clearly is having a lot of fun with that, troping his own movies like Lethal Weapon.
Yeah. This goes back to, we were talking earlier about Anchorman versus Zoolander. In Anchorman, it's almost all improv. So the actors don't really know how to react, or they can't react correctly with the scene to what the punchline, the bit was. Zoolander in this.
If you want to throw down in fisticuffs, fine. I've got Jack Johnson and Tom O'Leary waiting for you, right here.
You destroyed the only thing I love.
All right, there it is.
What?
Bulimic.
You can read minds.
Tom Noonan's face when he's dropping like 40 guns that he has stashed on him is priceless to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. He's like, just one gun, Jack? That was a great scene, and I did have a big smile on my face. And the only problem is I hate when it cuts back to the kid in the theater during that scene, and he's shoving popcorn in his face, and he's like, oh, big mistake. And I'm like, oh, man, like, I want to watch Jack Slater 3, man. Like, I'll be honest. I want to fucking watch Jack Slater 3. It would have been fun to watch, you know, the airplane.
National Lampoon's Loaded
Academy.
Weapon. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I was trying to avoid bringing that movie up. I was thinking of
why,
like, you know,
it was pretty good.
The Naked Gun. I mean, I need to revisit it. It's been a long time.
It has, all right, it is very tiresome, but there are at least 2 or 3 bits that really get me.
Look to a man with whom you were involved. No, not him. It was in Vietnam. No.
That's my review of National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon.
Loaded Weapon 1, get it right.
Motherfucker.
You know those wilderness guys' cookies was laced with cocaine.
No wonder I couldn't eat just one.
There is one other thing that I did want to bring up that pissed me off is the Coca-Cola product placement. It's like, come on, man. Like, what the
Well,
fuck?
that's funny you say that. Sony and Coca-Cola had this huge, sprawling, massive partnership from the late 80s to, I believe, the mid-90s. It's funny you brought up product placement because even when Sony first bought Columbia Studios in 89 or 90, they still couldn't refrain from shoving their shitty products down our throats. Who had a mini disc player, let alone a mini disc player in their fucking car?
Right. Yeah, they always had Walkmans and everything in their movies and stuff in the 90s and everything. Yeah, that's...
It continues to this day.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I just bring up Chappie, the Neil Blomkamp movie where they have like fucking 100 PS3s or PS4s like all stacked on top of each other.
Sony, I hate to break it to you, as much as you shove it into your movies, no one's ever going to buy a Sony Vaio or a Sony Ericsson phone.
It's shameless. And listen, the Marvel movies do it too. They do brand deals. Put their little laptops up there. Shit. Chromebooks.
I can deal with that when it makes sense. It's just a computer. It's just a laptop. You're going to shove the logo in my face, whatever. It's not going to work on me. A fucking mini disc player in your car. What kind of world do they think we live in?
It's execs in meetings just saying, put this in here. We got to get money from this company. Or whatever.
Have you ever even seen a physical mini disc player in real life?
I never in my life. I don't think I ever saw one in the store. I completely forgot they even existed until you brought it up just now. So do you want to get into spoilers or do you have anything else to say?
Yes, I have one more thing to say, though. The magic ticket given to the old man by Harry Houdini. Coincidentally, Harry Houdini spent much of his life debunking psychics and mediums.
Before getting punched in the stomach and dying.
Yeah.
Boxer.
So, I mean, I get it. It's a good name. He's a magical man, but he spent his entire life boo-hooing the supernatural. And he has this magic ticket that can let people go into movies. All right, any spoilers you wish to discuss?
There are some lines that I did want to bring up, which is when Arnold goes to his second cousin's house. He walks in there with the groceries, and his second cousin, who looks like his grandfather.
I know you Jack Slater's favorite second cousin in the whole world.
Which is hilarious. That whole thing is so hilarious.
In the world of this movie series, they also had to create a daughter for him.
Brigitte Wilson's.
But I love how the cousin is giving the information that he's supposed to relay, and then he's just like,
"This is important. Tony Vivaldi and the Torelli mob are joining forces. I'm out of here."
I love that line.
Scene in the opening scene, they really harped on Lethal Weapon a lot. We have...
This is one hell of a way to spend Christmas.
We have a black cop and a white cop.
What do you want? 60 guys dancing on the lawn, throwing cocaine at each other? Just kick the door in.
2 days to retirement.
2 days to retirement.
Oh, I love that. That when fucking the black cop is in the palm tree, and Arnold's getting up from the explosion. He's like, 2 days till retirement, and he dies. That's fucking great. And also, I love the line where he says to the kid,
"Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but you're gonna live to enjoy all the glorious fruits life has to offer. Acne, shaving, premature ejaculation, and your first divorce."
It's a fucking great line. I love that fucking line.
One of my favorites was, I mean, even though this movie was a little reference heavy, Basic Instinct, T2, E.T., I love the Danny DeVito cat.
Radcliffe, you're pulling duty with the animated cat. Hiya, Toots.
I can prove this is a movie. Look out there, this is a cartoon cat.
He's supposed to be back on duty. He was only suspended for a month. Now shut up.
That cat is one of the best men I got.
I also like how Arnold, he can't understand that the guy's name, his name is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Hello, Mrs. Madigan. Arnold Braunschweiger.
Hi, I'm Arnold Braunschweiger.
Right. Yeah, the cat thing to me is way too underdeveloped. They bring him back later on in the movie randomly, and it's like, I don't know, maybe they were worried that it would alienate people or something, but it just, I don't know, it kind of comes out of nowhere.
I mean, it could be that, or it could be it's spoofing action movies and just out of nowhere cops we see for 10 seconds. What kind of happens? Maybe it's that, but I don't think so.
I mean, I don't know. I think it might be more of a nod to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. They're trying to kind of get that vibe a little, maybe.
Yeah, I could see that. Another movie reference on the belt. The dog pyramid made me laugh as well.
Oh, yes. So that ties into directly to another one of my favorite lines. That scene was great, the introduction of him meeting Charles Dance. When Charles Dance says, "If I snap my finger one more time, you're going to be going out of the rectum of these dogs." Then Arnold says to him, "How are you going to snap your fingers if I rip off both your thumbs?" It's just like, it's just such a classic kind of a one-liner, those movies from the 80s.
There were plenty of those, but there should have been a lot more. Some of them were really lame. I'm having trouble remembering which ones were, but let's just say here's an example.
How is that guy? Cone of phrase.
Gives you flashbacks to what movie? Batman and Robin. There you go.
Yeah. Chill out.
Cold puns are not Arnold Schwarzenegger's speciality, let's say.
Yeah, it's not his forte.
Let's just say he's not a dish best served cold. Wah, wah.
And cue cricket noise.
One more scene I really loved, one more little line I loved. Right after Benedict and his men break into Arnold Schwarzenegger's ex-wife's house and they're escaping, he decides, "Oh, I'm going to play chicken. I'm a good guy. This is definitely going to work."
I'm a comedy sidekick. Oh, shit. I'm a comedy sidekick. It's not gonna work.
I don't know. I just, that kid annoyed me. And also the effects of him in the air on the bike, it looked so bad to me.
E.T. rough. This movie, it's definitely, it pushes its boundaries and it definitely borders on, okay, get to a joke or get to an action scene. A reference to Basic Instinct isn't going to do it for me. But there was one reference that definitely did do it for me. And it's totally in the
Zoppo.
kind of, ooh, I know that movie. I like that movie kind of way.
I know what that is.
Do you know which scene it was for me?
No. Enlighten
It
us.
was a reference to an Ingmar
Oh God, yeah, no.
Bergman film, The Seventh Seal.
As soon as I saw that, I said, "Oh, fucking Rudy is creaming his fucking pants with the Seventh Seal."
He doesn't do anything. It is just a reference. He just shows up. Maybe you should look for the other ticket. Another problem I have with that is they should have got Max von Sydow to play Death. That would have been pretty cool, right?
Yeah, and the whole ending of the movie feels rushed, especially with Charles Dance. I mean, going from the Ripper getting killed and shocked to death
straight to Charles Dance.
So immediately to Charles Dance. It's like, wait, why is he immediately on the roof now? Why is immediately we're having this climax? It's frustrating.
Why isn't he just following through on his plan, going into different worlds and just like stealing stuff? Well, it goes back to what he said earlier. In this world, the bad guys can win. So I guess there's that.
Yeah, so I mean, Ian McKellen is death. It's interesting. They don't really do that much with it. You know, he's just there to
be a reference
and to tell him, oh, maybe you should look for the other half of that ticket. He's not on my list. And
you are. You die a grandfather. So why did you even come here,
right.
Ian McKellen death? He says, I was curious.
He just exists to tell the kid about the ticket. I don't know. I mean, maybe John McTiernan really loves the Seventh Seal. I don't know.
I could see that. Because, I mean, all the other references are movies of that time or sort of, I want to say timeless classics, but I haven't watched E.T. in a really long time. All of a sudden we see Max von Sydow playing chess with Ian McKellen. Here's another Rudy recommendation for you. It kind of has a disappointing ending, but there are some moments in The Seventh Seal that are quite literally breathtaking.
Yeah, still haven't seen it.
You've been a bad boy.
It's weird because it's such a random movie that I don't think many people know The Seventh Seal. So for that to be in The Last Action Hero, it's like, oh, okay. Like, I don't think anybody's going to get this except for like hardcore film fans.
It's definitely the wrong audience for this kind of movie.
Especially in the super early 90s. I mean, 93. I don't even think Criterion had released fucking The Seventh Seal. Yeah. Criterion has existed since the fucking 80s, but 1984, I think, started. But it's like, I don't know if they even fucking released it at that point. Maybe they did.
I would doubt it, but it is, like you say, it is possible. Hold on one second. I have the Blu-ray right here. I can tell you what number it is.
Oh, yeah. What's the spine number?
Oh, they definitely released it by this time.
What is it,
the number
6?
is 11.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's not based on the Blu-ray. It's based on the first things that they produced, right?
I think it might be based on DVD. So I'm not entirely sure. Because like I said, they started in 84.
Yeah, doing laser discs and stuff.
I don't really know because I think Silence of the Lambs is one of the very first that they released. And that didn't come out. Well, that came out in the early 90s too. So
whatever, who cares?
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, Arnold's daughter's fucking hot. Movie.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I forgot that. I was like, holy shit. I saw something on her IMDb that sparked my interest for some reason. I can't remember, but.
A remote peak to have some fun. A group of terrorists. One desire.
Erection.
Another good scene and another funny line. At the funeral, Arnold goes up to the corpse.
You hear this?
Help me! Get me out of here!
Fucking German accent. It was hilarious.
Yeah, that he's alive. This man's
Somebody get a doctor.
Yeah,
I'm a doctor. Check his chin.
The doctor is fainted. Yeah, that is funny. It is a bit ridiculous that we just constantly keep going to everyone pulling their guns out. It's okay for the first 10 seconds, and then it just keeps going on, and it's like, all right, okay, we get it.
Pans across the screen, we see old women, men, old men, and a nun. They all pull their gun. Okay, it's a nice little sight gag. He runs for a little bit, more people pull their guns. He runs a little bit more, an old lady in a wheelchair pulls a gun, starts shooting him. Okay.
The movie, like I said, it wears out its welcome. It's too much. It has good moments too.
All right, do you have anything else on Last Action Hero?
I've got nothing else that I can think of. You got anything you want to bring out?
Re-edits would really help this movie.
Yeah.
And for you, I guess replace the kid, but he didn't bother me much. I sort of liked his out-of-place exuberance, let's say.
Okay. Oh yeah, I mean, I did want to bring up, there is another reference. Odd Job is in the movie, and they do nothing with him.
Yeah. He appears at the beginning. Well, it could be Odd Job, or it could be Preston's butler
Yeah, I
from
know they all
Pee-wee's
look
Big
alike.
Adventure. We'll leave that up in the air. And then later he goes through the movie screen with Benedict and then dies in a car chase or in a game of chicken.
You get a guy like that who's been Odd Job, and you do nothing with him. He just fucking is in a bloody pile outside of a car. Like that's all we're gonna do with him. Okay.
Same thing with this, which we brought up earlier, Ian McKellen's death. Seeing Robert Patrick in a cop uniform, seeing Sharon Stone dressed up like Catherine, what's her sexy ass name, and Basic Instinct. Like I said, it crosses the line and it borders for virtually all the movie. Just a reference for reference sake.
Well, it's funny you brought up the Basic Instinct thing, but Sharon Stone agreed to come back to the movie for a cameo because Arnold called her up and he said, I know we didn't get along and everything like that, but your career took off because of Total Recall. And so she agreed to come back for that cameo. And so I think they kind of patched things up a little.
I'd like to patch things up with her.
Yeah, she still looks pretty good now, even.
Oh, yes. Comment in the comments section your favorite, sexiest Sharon Stone moment. That'll really show YouTube who the boss is.
Yeah.
Give us your thoughts on that one scene where she made out with that blonde chick in the bathroom of Basic Instinct.
Yeah, give us your frame by frame breakdown. Just make sure you don't jizz when you see Wayne Knight's face by mistake.
Last Action Hero.
Edit that out.
If you're a child of the 90s, give it a shot. If you're not, give it a shot anyways, if you ask me. And, see you. Ice to see you.